Draft grades. The one thing that means absolutely nothing when it comes to the NFL. Because let me show you this right now. And this is CBS Sports' draft grades before we get into the overall draft grades around the NFL sphere for the Cincinnati Bengals. This is the 2024 NFL draft grades for CBS Sports. Now, we got a B plus, which, okay, I don't think that's the worst thing in the world. The Raiders got a B minus, even though they took Brock Bowers, who was arguably the best player, but they took a player they did not need and did it over other players that they could have taken that they did need. Nonetheless, let's go ahead and post this bad boy, which is going to be the draft grades when Patrick Mahomes got selected. And if you're wondering, yes, the Buffalo Bills traded that pick to the Kansas City Chiefs to give them Patrick Mahomes. The Bills also traded away the pick that ended up being Justin Jefferson. They then went ahead and traded away this draft a pick that gave the Chiefs Xavier Worthy. And if Xavier Worthy ends up becoming good, that will be the third player that Buffalo traded away that could have been theirs / a top 10 player in the NFL. Buffalo, you're doing more good for other teams than your own. Nonetheless, though, when Patrick Mahomes got drafted, they gave it a C minus. Calling Mahomes a project is a major understatement. He's nowhere near ready to play in the NFL, and honestly, he may never be. Between his inconsistent accuracy due to a poor mechanics, his tendency to bail from the clean pockets, his lack of field vision, he's going to leave as many big plays on the field as he creates. This was a risky pick. And now he's the second best quarterback behind Joe in the NFL. Just a little side note there for anyone who does follow draft grades. Yeah, they mean absolutely nothing. They mean less than nothing. Saying giving a draft grade for a player is like flipping a coin in the air and catching it and then trying to guess if it's heads or tails. It's a 50-50 shot, right? That's pretty much what this comes down to. We won't know if any of these draft grades are accurate, inaccurate, or whatever until 5-6 years down the line when we find out how good the player actually is. Even I would say anytime before that, before 5 or 6 years, yeah, you could say like, oh, well, this guy's doing really good. But what if he's only good for 3 years or 2 years and then he falls off? Is that really, that good of a first round pick? So I guess, everyone has their different opinions. But anyway, though, overall grades. Sports News gave us an A minus. Okay. Not bad. Pro Football Focus gave us a B plus. USA Today gave us a B minus. Oh, sorry, I might give us a B. I saw the minus, but it's just a B. ESPN Mel Kiper gave us a B, and I think that's kind of where I'm sitting at too. Again, I think we have a B draft. I think we got ourselves what we needed, which was a right tackle of the future. Whether or not he's going to hit or not, we'll find out later. We got ourselves an amazing run-stuffing defensive tackle, which is what we need. That's losing DJ Reader. We got ourselves a new slot receiver, which I guess they just don't trust Chuck Sizzle. We got ourselves a really good-looking project in Jackson, who's going to be a good run stuffer, hopefully, for the future. We got Josh Newton, which we need a cornerback. We need a rotational guy. I like that pick. And then we got ourselves 2 tight ends, still questionable. And then we got ourselves a strong safety, and I'm not really interested in that. I'm interested more in Matt Lee, our new center / guard, who is now on the roster. We'll see how he fits with us. I think it was a B. I think we did a good job. I don't think we did an amazing job. I think if we would have gotten Brock Bowers round 1, I think it would have been a little bit better. Just my personal opinion. I know not everyone's going to agree with that because we didn't need Brock Bowers, or we did need Brock Bowers. I think it was a decent pick. And even if we would have traded up and, let's say, instead of getting Brock Bowers, we got someone like, I don't know, Fuaga, and we could use him at tackle or guard, and we could actually use him this year at guard, I think it would have been a great pick. So I think I would have put that as an A, but I think we still had a really good draft. So let's go ahead and talk about this. First round pick is Amarius Mims, and this is how the NFL world graded us. Sports SB Nation posted an A. Pro Football Network gave us a B+. Yahoo Sports is an A+. I think this pick, for all intents and purposes, how, we didn't trade up, we waited to see who was on the board, when best player available to a certain degree. I think there was other guys. Troy, I think, would have been. Troy from the Huskies tackle would have been more interesting, in my opinion, just because of the fact he's going to play center or guard in the NFL. And I know you're like, well, we need a right tackle in the future. And I get that 100%. But the way I look at it is that this year we're trying to protect Joe Burrow and keep him upright and keep him healthy. I think Troy would have been a better pick for the fact that we could have replaced Cordell Volson with him. And we would have had ourselves a star guard ready to go this year. And then we could have focused on tackle the rest of the draft as well. But again, like I said, hindsight is 2020. I like the fact of how everything turned out in the end. Chris Jenkins, if everything here is not an A, I'm going to scream. Okay, so anyway, CBS Sports gave us an A minus. USA Today, I don't really care about that. B. And then B+. All right, cool. So the only thing I actually care about out of all these is going to be CBS Sports. I think that's the only credible source here. SB Nation, come on now. USA Today, I mean, that's just more of a... Wait, Michael Schwartz. Okay, anyway, so the third pick here is Jermaine Burton. Jermaine Burton, I think, was a really, really good pick. Mainly because of his upside. And again, he is a slot receiver, which... It's going to be interesting because we drafted Tanner, who is a slot receiver, tight end. We also picked up Mike, who played 70% last year in the slot. So we have a lot of slot options now. Now, nothing wrong with that. Obviously, the more slot options, the better. You need rotation purposes. But the reason why I like Burton so much is he kind of has that it factor about him. Kind of reminds me of Jamar Chase in a lot of ways. And I think he can not maybe 100% be Jamar Chase, but I think he can be very similar. And if Jamar Chase can groom him and, teach him how to play to a next level, I think he'd be really good. All three of the grades give us an A. And again, I think this was a really good pick as well. I think that there are some things that we need to work on with him when it comes to off the field issues and also his mentality about certain things, but I think it's pretty good. McKinley Jackson, I think this, again, like I said, is more or less of a project that is a project we needed to go with. Because, again, was there better players available at this round or this pick? Absolutely, yeah. But I think Cincinnati kind of went away from the mentality of, hey, listen, let's go with the best pick available. And instead they went with, what could we use that would help us out right now and in the future that we could get for cheap and kind of build around. And that's what this guy is. And this guy has a lot of good tape in college. This guy is not like, the best of the best, but again, that's why he's a late third round pick. And they both gave us, CBS Sports and Cincinnati.com, both gave us a B and a B+, and I think it was a pretty solid pick. Eric All is a pick I think that was really interesting in my opinion, just because of the fact that I think the way they structured this is a guy that they wanted. So while other picks were more or less just like best player available or positional value players, this was a guy that they wanted a lot. And they got the guy they wanted a lot. So I think Eric All, looking more into him, I think he's an all-around versatile tight end. He kind of gives us a little bit of everything. He's more or less like, I feel like a Drew Sample, but a little bit better when it comes to being more vertical. So B and then B minus and then B. Josh Newton, I think, again, for our secondary, now that Dax Hill is officially a cornerback, I think we need a rotational guy. So I like this pick for that said reason. We got a B and then we got a B. At first, I thought this was Towson University. That's all TCU, but it's actually Texas Christian University. Next pick here was Tanner. I understand this pick a lot more after hearing Zach Taylor talk, after looking at his tape. I posted a video today of his tape, and I think he is a really good player. I don't know how it's going to work out for him, but I still think he is a good player. B for Cincinnati.com. Cedric Johnson, again, an edge rusher. I think it was a pretty solid pick. We got a B for. And then we got a safety, which, of course, they gave us a B minus, Pro Football Network. That's not how you spell network, by the way. That's, it's, W-O-R-K, network. kind of misspell this. This is actually coming from Bengals.com, by the way. So this is coming from the official Bengals.com. And then our last pick, Matt Lee, they give us an A- from CBSSports.com. And I think that's really is a good... I think that's a good grade, in my opinion. I'm excited for Matt Lee, and again, I'm excited for any player who's an offensive lineman who's going to, have hidden potential, and that's exactly what Matt Lee has. So overall wise, I don't think the grades were bad. I think they were pretty solid. Again, I think, we have stuff to work on. We have stuff to get better at, and we're going to continue as time goes on. So tell me down below your thoughts and opinions. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.